Hey guys, it is Tree Stand Safety Awareness Month and we want to walk through with you. Casey and I are going to tell you how we hang our tree stands and we're going to stay safe from the time we're on the ground to the time we get to the top of the tree stand. Now it starts with this. This is a hunter safety harness. This is a tree stand hanging harness. You can see the big pockets in this. Gives you tons of flexibility for putting stuff inside your pockets so you don't have to carry it and be dangerous as you're going up the ladder. Now let's start with what's in the pockets. This is a rope style tree strap that goes around. Now what I do here is I hook it. As you can see, I have mine right here. I hook this through and pull it tight, and that way it's solid on one side. That allows me to go around the tree and use this pressic knot right here to tighten it down depending on the size of the tree. When you're going one direction with a pressic knot, you've got slack. When you pull on it this way and put tension on it, it tightens right up. So that's the nice thing about this is it doesn't matter the size of the tree, I can go all the way around, and that allows me to use two hands as I'm climbing. I just move the rope up and I have two hands. Extremely safe and absolutely a necessity before we even leave the ground. Now, Casey and I hang Millennium tree stands. This is the receiver for a Millennium tree stand. In my opinion, it is one of the best ways to connect to a tree. It is very simple. All you have to do is pull one of these screws, put this little loop in there and latch it down, and your tree stand goes in here. So it's really nice because you can put this in the tree and then someone can hand it, your tree stand up on a rope so you're safe. This goes in one of these very large pockets and it goes up the tree with me no matter what. Now, another thing, don't go up the tree without a saw. I don't know how many times I forgot it at the bottom. You get up there and you're trying to go through branches. I take the saw with me. You can just cut on the way up. It's super lightweight. This is an amazing little saw from Buck. And basically, just cut your way through as you got to go up, and it fits right inside the big pocket. And then last, you want to consider what kind of accessories are you going to have when you get up there. For us, we always have something to hang our packs on. In this case, this is a hawk accessory for hanging packs. And over here, this is an extender if you need to, but this is a bow hook. We always make sure that we put our bow hooks in the place where we want it to be. We put our pack hooks where we want it to be. And we always test it when we get in the tree stand, and we leave them up there all season long. It saves a lot of time and a lot of noise in the morning by putting those in the tree stand when you first get up. So now that we know what's in our pockets and what we need before we go up the tree, next, you gotta pick a tree. So let's go do that. All right, so when you talk about tree selection, there's a couple things you have to keep in mind. First and foremost is it a crooked tree? I know it sounds like a silly thing, but you really got to stand underneath the tree and make sure that you're going to have a pretty straight tree. Now, this is really important to consider. Is the tree stable enough? Is it actually a weak tree? The last thing you want to do is get up in a tree and the next year you come back, it's a dead tree and your stand's broken. So just really be cognizant of what kind of tree you're hanging it in and check the stability of the tree before you do it. There's never a perfect spot unless it's that one spot that you see and you go, there it is, that's the spot. So find your tree. In this case, for the purpose of this video, we already have a tree stand in this tree and we're gonna show you how we got it up there. All right guys, so here's what we're gonna do. We found our tree, now we've got these microlight sticks. Casey and I think that this is the best option for this tree because it gives us the flexibility to actually go around the tree and get into the front of that tree stand. So what you want to do with these, they're really easy to hang, but you got to have one crucial part. Once you get this around and you hook it and your strap is flat, the one big thing that you're going to want to remember with these sticks is that when you tighten it, you have to tighten it at an angle. You have to have it above you. So you put that up here like such and make sure that when you tighten it down, it's at an angle, because when you do that and then you put the weight on it, it's going to lock in and it's not going to move. If this strap is too low, then you're going to slip when you get in the tree stand. So it's really important to get it at an angle, lock it in, and then that way it's not going anywhere. Okay, so now I've got my sticks hung, right? Down they are, they're nice and tight. Now, we talked about this earlier. This is my rope straw. This is my lineman's belt. That's what it acts as. I can bring this around the tree, and again, adjustable. So it's completely adjustable to the size of the tree. Once I get a good distance, I feel like I'm good. Now if you see that, I'm leaning back and I just test it before I actually step off the ground. Is that how far I want to be away from the tree? If I want to be closer, I just adjust my knot and then I test it and I go, okay, there's my distance. Now from there, I can get in for my first set and I can throw this up and there, you see that? I'm hanging. I've got 2 hands I can use to put up my next set of sticks as we go forward. Now, there's one thing you have to keep in mind. As you can see here, there's a couple of branches. Once I get up here and I feel secure, you got to take this lineman's belt, put it back around on the other side of those branches, and that's one part you have to be super careful about as you go up until you can get something like a lifeline put at the top of the tree. All right, now we're a couple steps in the process. We're moving right along. We've got our sticks in. I'm attached to the tree. I've used my lineman's belt. I've put the rest of my sticks all the way up to the top. Now let's go over to Casey. He's gonna show you how to hang a tree stand. We're gonna do it from ground level for simplicity of this video, just to really give you the detail you're gonna need when you get in the tree.
So now it's time to actually get this tree stand attached to the tree. Chris and I use Millennium tree stands and they're super easy because of this receiver. I'm gonna show you exactly how this works. This goes up the tree in my harness. And when I get up there, all I have to do is slide this loop around, drop a pin in. Sometimes you're gonna kind of squirt the pin through. There we go. And then once you get it through there, you thread it. It threads down on there nice and taut. And then it's just a matter of ratcheting down the old ratchet strap. So you grab onto the strap, make sure everything here is level and straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give it a couple of good ratchets. And there you go. This receiver is now ready to receive the tree stand. As you can see, this tree stand has a post right here, okay? This post is going to go into that receiver. The way that I get the tree stand up the tree is I use either a bow rope or a lifeline. That's the best way to get this up. Do not try to carry this tree stand up your ladder sticks or up your microlight sticks. Whatever you do, don't try to carry this up there. It's not wise, it's not smart. Use a bow rope or use the lifeline. It's super easy. This receiver, or this pin, goes right into this receiver. Just like that. And the tree stand is now in the tree. Now there's one more part to a Millennium, which is this little cotter pin right here. If you can see this cotter pin, this actually goes down in the bottom, just like that, to actually keep this stand from ever coming up and out of the receiver itself. So the final piece of the puzzle is a lot of us like to put straps around the bottom of the stand. Now Millenniums are leveling, so I can actually take this, level the platform out, get it to where I want it. And then the last piece of the puzzle is a ratchet strap that goes right around the base right here, just like this. When you put this ratchet strap on the base, what you'll find is it really helps to lock in and secure the stand. So I just usually give it like, 2 or 3 good, once it engages, 2 or 3 good ratchets, and bam, there it is. That stand is tight, it is secure, and it is not going anywhere. Now remember, we did this at ground level just for ease of being able to move around and explain it. If I was doing it 20 feet up in a tree, I would have the Hunter Safety System tree stand hanger harness on, I would have my lineman's belt, and I would be attached to the tree the entire time. But there's still one more thing after we get the stand in. We've got to hang the lifeline, so stay tuned, we'll show you how to do that real quick. This is a really important step in the process, and you're going to do this step after you actually get your tree stand hung up, and that's to install the lifeline. So if you see this right here, this is 30 feet of rope, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate how this attaches to the tree. Now, again, I'm doing this at ground level for simplicity, but you have to imagine if you're 20-25 feet up in your tree stand, you could take this basically rope style strap, you wrap it around the tree, feed it through itself, and it goes all the way down to the ground. Then you've got this prusik knot that you're going to attach to every time the minute you leave the ground, you're going to attach to it. You're going to stay attached to the tree all the way up, all the way through your hunt, and all the way back down. This thing is a game changer. The last time I checked, about 80% of tree stand accidents happen on the transfer from the sticks to getting into the tree stand. This eliminates that because you're tethered to the lifeline the entire time. So let's take a look at how it hangs. I'm going to pop up here and let's pretend that we were going to drop this 30 feet all the way down to the ground. Okay. One really important part of this when you're setting it up is that you have to, I usually start with the prusik knot all the way at the end. Okay, so you've got a tag end with a prusik knot in one hand and then you've got the loop end in the other hand. And all you're gonna do is feed the tag end out and around the tree, and then you're gonna bring it through and pass it through itself, okay? And now at this point, what I like to do is I like to grab on to the prusik. That way I'm pulling the rope, but not the prusik knot. And you just thread it through itself the entire way. You just grab, start pulling, start threading through itself, and you're basically gonna create a loop just like that. It's gonna go around the tree. Now let's talk about the placement of this loop real fast, because placement is pretty important. You've got to be able to place it so that you can climb up and get into your stand at the appropriate angle. We also have to place it from a height standpoint where you're going to minimize, if you ever were to fall, you're going to minimize the distance that you fall. And so let's take a look at what that looks like. So if I put this right here and I were to fall from this distance, it's going to look like this. I actually fall out of my tree stand, okay? So what I prefer to do is I prefer to actually reach up a bit higher, and I try to put this kind of almost as high as I can reach, because if I can get it up that high, now if I happen to fall, I'm not falling nearly as far, right? I'm still actually in my stand. So the height at which you put this is really important. Just think about that. I've seen some people try to run it down here around their waist. I promise you it doesn't get in the way of your shooting. I mean, if you look at this, I can shoot no problems all the way around. I've got nothing in my way. So that's pretty important. Take that into consideration when you're hanging it. That is the Lifeline, and that is how you stay safe from the minute you leave the ground until the minute you return.
All right, guys, so that's how Casey and I put a tree stand in a tree. Now, remember, we did this for demonstration purposes, and you always want to do your research. Continue to do it. Get the right equipment. Make sure it's right for you before you get in the woods. But I can't stress enough how much it is important to stay safe when you're hanging a tree stand.
There really is no excuse. We've got the technology and we've got the equipment to stay safe from the minute we leave the ground all the way up and all the way back down, from the harness to the lifelines and the lineman's belts. All of those tools, you have to utilize them. You have to stay safe.
Your life is worth way more than these harnesses. I can tell you that. So invest in it. You guys have a great season out there and stay safe.
Good luck, everybody.